Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 212. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. If you're searching for us on Google+, search for us as Dumb SEO Questions. And also you can ask a question on our Facebook page or our Facebook group, Dumb SEO Questions, and also on Twitter, Dumb SEO QS. With us tonight we have Micah Fisher-Kirshner. Micah is Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk in the USA. He lives on the west coast of the USA. And Tim Capper is CEO of OnlineOwnership.com. He's a conversion rate optimization specialist. Proud to call himself an SEO, where Tim is also a Google top contributor on the Google My Business community. All right, the first, hang on a minute. I've forgotten to share my page. There we are, that works. Our first one is a fairly simple one from Kyle Hawk. He said, "Hi there. I have a Google Search Console question. Probably about 6 months ago, I made a custom 404 page. Ever since, every now and again, 404 PHP shows up in my Search Console under a soft 404. The URL that says is broken." He gives his website, www.randomaneme.org. He said it works fine. Any ideas why this might be happening? Thanks in advance. I know I answered this on Facebook, but Micah, you might like to sum up and run it out.
Yeah. Generally, a soft 404 means you've got a page that looks like it's a 404, a page no longer available. However, it's actually being resolved as a regular page, aka the 200. So that's what Google is noting, and that's something that they would have to be looked at. So the problem essentially being is, while you have a custom 404, you really just got a low quality poor page that Google thinks is a weak page. And part of that is just on your server, the page is not actually being classified as a 404. So you can check that on things that do that actually check your redirects. There's tools out there for that, such as what was the one that I provided in the comment? Oh yeah, redirect-checker.org is one example. Yeah, so if you just fix that to actually have it classified as a 404, you'll be all right.
Excellent. Thank you, Micah, and let's call that a wrap and move on to the next. This one from Edesham Shaikh asked a question on opening the same website link in a new window. He said, "Hi SEOs, what if I open the same website link in a new window? Does it count as bounce rate? Thanks."
I mean, it should, yes. It should normally be the same session and not be seen as a bounce. There are exceptions to that, and that might be if you're doing some tagging within the sign, you're creating additional tracking information on there. Could be your analytics tool that might do something really odd or different, but generally it should not count as a bounce.
Yeah, and I see that Federico Sasso, one of our forum heroes through the week, also answered this. He agrees with you, Micah. He said Normally, the two windows share the same session cookies, so no, it's not seen as a bounce on the server side. I see Federico has updated his Visual SEO Studio. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Do any of you guys use it?
I've used it, I think, once or twice in the past. I haven't had a need yet to try out the new version.
I haven't used it since the update. So, no, I haven't seen the updates or.
Well, I should post it in the news. All right, let's call that an answer. And let's go on to the next. Vegan protein powders asks the question on manual action for thin content. He said, or she said, either one. Hello guys, just a quick question. Could a manual action for thin content be triggered by alt tag keyword stuffing? If I have 15 to 20 images per page, each with the main keyword plus 4 to 5 descriptive keywords, I assume that's not the best practice, but is that enough for a manual action? Thanks.
No, I think you're looking at the wrong thing for your manual action on thin content. It may have played a part, but it was certainly not the your image alt tags is certainly not the actual main factor for your thin content on page. But getting back to the alt image tag was designed for screen readers so that they could, and for people with disabilities so that they could actually have a proper description on what the image is. You shouldn't be shoving in 4 to 5 descriptive keywords because that makes no sense to the image. The image should be, if they're 4 pictures of a bathroom from different angles showing different things, it should be, shower, whatever it is. So if you're taking an image of the shower, it should be chrome shower head in, white bathroom, and then it should be, or in newly installed bathroom, and then it should be, if it's of the sinks, it should be 2 double sinks, his and her sinks in new bathroom. And then if it's an image from, let's say, with it's got maybe a freestanding bath from one side, it should be freestanding bath installed in new bathroom. You shouldn't be shoving in keywords that is there to describe it. And also, if you look at the way, machine learning and semantics now, Google understands this kind of stuff. Google, keywords is like 20 years old. Google understands when you say, look, this is a freestanding bath that's been added to. It's also providing, more in-depth information about the image, and also for the guy who's actually using the screen reader that it's meant to be used for. So I would certainly get rid of that practice of shoving in keywords because it's not going to help you. On the flip side, it may even be looked at, I know meta keywords, for example, are completely ignored. However, I don't know, 10 years back when it came out that they pretty much ignore them, or let's say 5 years ago, we do reserve the right to read these and to treat them as, to see if you're potentially like spamming, So use it how it's meant to be used. But getting back to the thing, I do not believe that shoving in keywords into your alt image is going to be the reason for a manual action for thin content. Thin content is web pages, scraped content that is so general that provides little or no kind of information. So like you've got a category page for bathroom fittings, and you've literally provided 200 words that are so general that it just could be, it just doesn't actually even provide me any information about this page. And then you've provided hundreds of these pages, thousands of these pages in an attempt to create a doorway page, for your bathroom fittings. So you would have created a page for bathroom fittings with Chrome, and literally it's the exact same thing, and you've just had 200 words in there with trying to fit Chrome into bathroom fittings, and then you've got your products, and then bathroom fittings with white tiles, but it's the same products, but you're just trying to create all these additional kind of thin doorway pages just to sort of attract users in. So that kind of stuff. So essentially you need, so I think it's more on how you've used it. I don't think it's these images, or at least not what I understand about the thin content penalty. It could play a part, but I don't think it's where you should be looking at the minute.
Good one, Tim. Okay, any more on this? Anyone want to add any more? I see, Rod, you put a bit in the chat, but no. Okay.
I don't think my bandwidth. Yeah, does it work? Okay. If he would have only text in his alt and not on his page itself, I think they could consider that as thin content.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right. I see Rob and William are having trouble joining us tonight, or holding on a connection anyway. We have to pay our fees to Google, I suppose. All right, let's tweet that and move on to the next. This one from Warrington Carpet Cleaners, who've asked a number of questions of us in the past. It's titled Link Relevant Keywords Between Sites. Warrington Carpet Cleaners said, hello all, I have several websites now, all of which are several years old, all in the same niche, being 5, 7, and 9 years respectively. I have not linked any of the websites for any keywords. Page authority and domain authority website, oh, I see, that's a table, okay. So I can't read his table because it's, can't really make sense. Oh, I see, 29 page authority, 16 domain authority, 5 years. Okay, now I get it. He said, if I were to link relevant keywords between the sites, would this help with pushing the relevant keyword up the ranking? And also, would the Moz stats also increase and make each domain stronger in Google's eyes? Regards, Russ. I'll tell you what I would say first off is that Google couldn't care less. They couldn't give a tinker's toss what the domain authority of your page is. Anyway, comments on this one, guys?
So it depends on kind of, it depends on whether or not they're all the same kind of area within the niche. By that I mean, are they like an e-commerce site, or are they kind of one's e-commerce, one's informational? So it kind of depends, and then it then also depends on whether or not you're going to be connecting them together as actual similar businesses. So thinking like Gap and Old Navy and Banana Republic are the same company. It on its own might not, if done in a kind of legitimate way, I don't think it should be an issue, but it all depends on kind of what you're trying to go with on that. So I mean, I don't personally see it as being a big problem if it's all kind of above board. As for authority and domain authority, it's not something that's directly related from Google's end. Just a note from Rob, but it's. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this just for the hopeful benefit of lifting them up. I would do that if to say, like, these are similar related companies and you think there's a value add to the user. I think that's pretty much the biggest thing you want to look at it. If it's not something that your users will find of value, then it's not something that you should probably spend your time on.
Yep. Anybody else?
I think I would just add, if it adds the user value, is it just basically for a link to catch a keyword and try to bounce around? Similar to other techniques that were done in the past, I think Google will detect it as a negative if you do it too much. So that's just, you look at it as a user experience thing first. Are you doing good for the user? Are they getting to the right topic? Like, it was mentioned just before, is it a related topic based website? So you're going from one area to reference over here. So, yeah.
Cool. All things in moderation. All right, let's move on to the next. We're powering through these, and we have so few tonight. Here's one from Sam Ma, who was also kind enough to answer a previous question here. He said, or the title of his question, Yelp's insight shows 50% higher. Sam said, I am pulling my hair out. I can't understand why Google Analytics data is showing 50% less traffic on Yelp from referrals, and Yelp's insight shows 50% higher traffic going to a website from a Yelp page. Who do I believe? Why is there a big difference in data?
It's a tough one. I think basically, it depends on, he's saying that there's traffic coming from Yelp and it's not being tracked completely. Half that traffic is not being tracked in analytics, right? So
yeah, he's saying the Google Analytics data is 50% less than Yelp showing and Yelp's insight is showing twice as much again.
Well, I would wonder if he's looking at just the Yelp.com, or there might be a subdomain that Yelp is using for advertising, if that's what he's doing too. He might be actually advertising and wanting to get that accurate number. He can also use a UTM tracking code, so the link that goes, from Yelp could be actually captured into a UTM string that'll go into Google Analytics under campaign. So there's other ways you can track that too.
Yeah.
So 50% is quite a lot. They're one of the reasons that you usually kind of see is sometimes people drop off before they land onto your site. So they might click through from Yelp but they then never land on your site in time. So you're always going to have some amount of differentiation between essentially a click and then someone who actually lands as a session on your website. Now, that also depends on how you're tracking the links coming in from Yelp. There might be issues with that setup that you have. And then there's the way that engines track or assign credit. There might be something in there where something is overwriting and might be creating an issue there. So it's hard to say offhand. If there's other comments that might give some insights on this.
Yeah,
Tim's note. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I was reading an article or questions similar to what we're answering right now on Quora, and I guess there is, you mentioned about like the cookies, and everything else that could be missing from the ad server of Yelp. I'll post that in the chat in just a second.
Yeah. Yeah, the comment field, yeah, Suraj said something on the HTTPS and HTTP. That's possible. There might be some loss of tracking there as well. So that's an additional one for that. Yeah.
And Tim said in the comment in the chat there, he thinks JavaScript might be doubling traffic. He should use GA_filter. And thanks to Dave Elliott, another of our forum heroes, for his answer. He said, where is your analytics script on the page? If it is anywhere other than the top of the page, then it might be that users are bouncing before the script kicks in. Or do you have a GA filter that is causing users not to be counted? Personally, I trust the data of the people that aren't selling you anything over the ones that are, in this case, Google. Tim Capper commented, he agreed with Dave Elliott and suggested to check the GA filter. All right, let's just look to see if there's any. Oh, and Suraj Gadagay, he said that besides other things mentioned by Tim and Elliott, one more thing to consider. He meant Tim and Dave, I think, surely. One more thing to consider, that if a website is on HTTPS and linking out or redirecting to an HTTP website, then the browser will not send referrer data because of security reasons. This means that all of the websites you are sending traffic to will see your traffic as direct traffic. Yeah. And you're going to add that link to the panel, or William, would you add that link that Tim's kindly provided in the comments?
Yeah, I'm on two different machines, so I went to go copy and paste, and it didn't quite come over. So I just added it. I just added it to the forum on that machine. So
Okay.
I had some technical difficulties, but yes, I did actually add the link, and it's on Quora. And basically, it's why does Facebook ad data not match Google Analytics data? And there's about 11 answers within inside there that are pretty useful as well as what we've had today.
All right. Let me tweet that. Okay, we've done it again, guys. For yet another week, we have answered all of the questions asked on the SEO Questions community, and also on our Facebook page, dumbseoquestions.com, and also on Twitter on dumbseoqs. All right, now we move on to our news section. I think we only have one article. It was posted by me. I also noticed an Alan Blue Eyes on Facebook frustrated about the AMP pages and the fact that and Mikey, you commented back on that, I think, yes. It's been a week since I read this article, or almost a week, and I'm lucky if I can remember what happened today, let alone yesterday. Tell us, Micah, bail me out and tell us what you think of this article, or the entire issue, really, of AMP and the way it doesn't give the link back to the site.
Yeah, the initial conversation started off about how if you, on a mobile device, and to give you kind of a context of a situation, you're reading something, you're like, oh, okay, hey, this will be interesting, related to a topic I want to send to my friend on, let's say, on Facebook. I could go and share the link. The link actually isn't the website. It's actually on google.com. If I'm looking for it in the search and I hit an AMP page, it's a google.com link. And that's, well, broken. That should not occur. You know, you're there to share the person's site, not to be on Google. And I think, and that's what kicks off this conversation or kicked off the topic for that, because the credit, like, you're trying to give credit to the site, not to Google, like, and then it snowballs from there with the whole conversation of how a lot of this stuff is really not yet built in a way that's appropriate and in line to how the web has been and should be, because, you know, traffic and credit is not being given its due diligence. You look at Google search results and they're trying to create their own HTML dialect rather than just base their algorithm on a heavier weight on actual page load time or time of speed. If their real concern is about speed, then that should be just the sole focus. It shouldn't have this extra dialect as a way to get into their rich card section, or have this little small stand-up that, let's be honest, most people don't recognize. That there's no, like, there shouldn't be a reason for companies that have now, like, a lot of companies have switched, a decent amount of companies, I should say, have switched over to responsive design, so you only need necessarily one dev setup. But this kind of breaks that and goes back to, you know, the mold of having a fully separate site again, and that's a lot of dev time and resources that kind of will make you wonder whether or not companies really go down that path versus just trying to make things load really fast. So while I kind of recognize the concept of why they want to have something load extremely fast and how companies are really slow about this on mobile, there's a lot of concerns of this is really not the right approach for the long run. And so there's a number of complaints about how this is being set up, even all the way down to kind of smaller concerns of there's an X, the X should go, what should it do? It should go to the site, or should it go back to Google? Why is it so large? Like, it takes away from the brand, that it's supposed to be there too much of Google showing up, and, you know, the concept of swiping between sites is not something that it defeats the purpose of both. You know, it takes away more and more from a company's website and puts more on Google's end. So there's a lot of consternation, more concern about the way it's still set up today.
Like, a quick question on that, because I've done a lot of research on AMP myself. I haven't executed anything at this point. And of course, I use the mobile device quite often, and I'm seeing AMP in my news primarily, of course. And it's a faster, easier read, of course, and you can swipe to the right, and keep moving. But at the same time, if I actually tap on it and I'll go to the actual website, it's like almost like, remember the little knowledge panel or the answer card, where everybody was kind of talking about, well, it's not driving the traffic, let's say, but actually it did drive them traffic because they had the actual correct answer the user was engaged with, and then continued on to the website to read more of that discussion on the topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's I like that kind of concept, but then that needs to be branded as something not like it's your site. It creates the wrong user experience. And on top of that, what I didn't mention, what you kind of indirectly brought up, which is you hit an AMP page and you want to go further, now you hit a non-AMP page.
Yeah, you're going from AMP to a non.
Yeah, and that feels broken and feels like I've hit another site and I go, wait, what's going on here? That's a bad user experience.
Especially if you get the ads, right? They start popping up at you.
Mm-hmm.
Or it doesn't really fit on the screen. You're like, okay, now I went from reading your stuff to... But that goes back to the website experience, too. It's the user, you're talking about the user experience going from AMP. And AMP is still kind of a new... I mean, it's not new, but it's basically being more widely adopted and used. But it still has its flaws, just like you saw in the answer box. Now everybody likes, oh, I love the answer box, great. But before they were still kind of thinking about it. But it goes back to that landing of that experience. You can continue the AMP experience.
Yeah, right. I do think there are some differences though with kind of an answer box and AMP, just because AMP is actually something that makes it seem like it's on your site that you have to implement versus kind of a direct answer featured snippet. This is something from Google and it's on there on search results. It's not something that is like a knowledge panel that is separate and you're clicking on to get more information. No, you're clicking in to get to the site and actually read the article.
Yeah.
That should not that's actually leaving Google in a lot of people's minds. And thus now I'm hitting a website. I shouldn't be swiping back and forth between sites because that's not my user intent. I should be seeing the brand, and it should be then a consistent experience when I go from page to page for that brand.
Yeah,
that's where I think the problem is. You don't. I want to compare. I mean, a better comparison I think for this is it's really meant to kind of go up against Facebook's instant articles. They're worried about losing a lot of that traffic, and so to me, that's their quick implementation of how to get something to compete against that. So people are more likely to continue searching on Google for news-related items. But I think that breaks kind of the purpose of the search experience, and then the following user experience if someone goes to a site.
At the same time, I'm also looking at the new upgrade to the Nexus devices with another 7.0. Now, the same, all of the different slides and everything else, the interaction between that phone and also with AMP on news is very similar in the way it works. And I'm wondering if maybe that's kind of where they were going with the Pixel, at the same time with the interface, the cards, and being able to go back to, swipe easily, different gestures, stuff like that. Maybe I'm just speaking out loud on that one, but I think there's something that has to be in that mix with mobile.
Maybe, but I mean, now you're talking about assigning people to a single device.
Not necessarily. It's a portion of the device, not Android, but
yeah. Well, there's a lot of devices out there that are not necessarily Android-based, so.
And I'm getting off the topic of AMP anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, but your point related on that, like if it's to be a consistent experience, then the other thing is that if they care about that, then that's something they should put as a separate thing, that your site has to act in a certain way for this extra benefit, not create dialect that have to be implemented separately from now suddenly a responsive design and yeah.
They have been talking. They have been talking responsive design and mobile friendly and speed for a long time now. But I think that's in preparation maybe to AMP rolling out and saying, okay, having this additional feature to the interface or news. Here's how you can take advantage of using this, but make sure that when, like you said, they get from that experience next to the rest of what they have to offer. Is that experience consistent or close to being fast, just like AMP, quality, something I can visually see on my phone?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how it comes out in the future. It's still kind of a baby, and work in progress. Everything we've seen the actual direction of where it started in the first, seeing the actual people take advantage of it in their companies.
Right.
Now, where it's kind of we should try this out. And with WordPress plugins, most of that happens anyways. If you put a WordPress plugin in, and now they've got a separate version of the AMP. So sometimes it's a little easier. Not so much on the HTML side. But.
Right. I mean, look, I recognize why there's that strong push to get companies to care more about mobile. Totally get that. But I just think it's the wrong area to go up. I mean, just amp up the ranking factor for load time. Simple as that. Make it as, hey, look, an AMP has to load, or any page to show up has to load in a second. Like, if it's not loading in a second, it doesn't get good rankings or a logo or whatever. That's, there's no need to create a separate dialect of HTML just for a smaller device. Is my view.
And exactly. I mean, you have to figure out if that AMP is for you too. I mean, if you're not serving up new stuff like that, it might not be a good thing. So that's what I'm trying to do: get AMP into what I'm trying to do currently with some of the projects I'm on. But haven't really found a use case. That's why I haven't really experimented enough with AMP.
Okay. So have we covered this, do you think, adequately? All right. I've got a feeling that when I click this button, it might tell me that it's time again. Thank you for watching. We appreciate the interest that you show in what we do. We sincerely do, because what it means is that your interest makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again. But for now, it's good night.